Sir Norman Foster. Norman Foster is the founder and chairman of Foster and Partners. He was born in Manchester in 1935. After graduating from Manchester University School of Architecture and City Planning in 1961, he won a Henry Fellowship to Yale University, where he gained a master's degree in architecture. In 1963, he co-founded Team 4, and in 1967, he established Foster Associates, now known as Foster and Partners. It was founded in London. It is now a worldwide practice with project offices in more than 20 countries. Over the past 4 decades, the company has been responsible for a strikingly wide range of work, from urban master plans, public infrastructure, airports, civic and cultural buildings, offices and workplaces, to private houses and product design. Since its inception, the practice has received 470 awards and citations for excellence, and has won more than 86 international and national competitions. Foster was born in Reddish, Stockport, England, on June 1, 1935, into a working-class family. He was raised in Levenshulme, Manchester. He did well at school and became interested in architecture. Foster was particularly interested in the works of Frank Lloyd Wright, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, and Le Corbusier. He left school at 16 and worked in the Manchester City Treasurer's office. Next, he joined the National Service in the Royal Air Force. After he was discharged in 1956, Foster attended the University of Manchester School of Architecture and City Planning. He graduated in 1961. Later, Foster won the Henry Fellowship to the Yale School of Architecture, where he earned his master's degree. Also, at his time at Yale, he met Richard Rogers. He then traveled around America for a year and finally returned to the UK in 1963. There, he set up an architectural practice as Team 4 with Rogers and the sisters Georgie and Wendy Cheeseman. Georgie was the only one of the team that had passed her RIBA exams, which allowed them to set up a practice of their own. Team 4 quickly earned a reputation for high-tech industrial design. After Team 4 broke up in 1967, Foster and Winnie Cheeseman started Foster Associates. This later became Foster and Partners. In 1968, Foster worked with American architect Richard Buckminster Fuller until Fuller died in 1983. They worked on several projects that became important in the development of an environmentally sensitive approach to design. This included the Samuel Beckett Theatre. Foster and Partners' first important building in the UK was the Willis Faber and Dumas headquarters in Ipswich in 1974. The client was a family firm insurance company which wanted to restore a sense of community to the workplace. Foster created open-plan office floors long before open plan became the standard. In a town that did not have a lot of public facilities, the roof gardens, 25-meter swimming pool, and gymnasium are good benefits for the company's 1,200 employees. The building is wrapped in a full-height glass facade. The facade shifts from opaque reflective black to a glowing backlit transparency as the sun sets. You can see it there in the picture. This is my personal favorite Foster design. It's a residence called Creek Bane. It's one of his early designs, and it was, as you can see in the section, it's built on a steeply sloping site. This private house was designed to exploit a sequence of classically Cornish views and reveal an architecture informed almost entirely by the topographies of its site. Looking south towards the broad sweep of the Foul estuary, west towards the secluded creek, and north along the valley above, its rooms fan out towards each of these differing points. The house itself is organized into around 2 routes. The first is external and visually divides the building in two, leading from the road access above across the bridge to the front door and down a flight of steps to the waterfront. The other is internal in the form of a top-lit picture gallery. This internal axis follows the contours of the site and forges all the living spaces into a continuum, starting at the highest roof terrace and ending as a path to the underground garage. Like most of his other projects from this period, Creek Bane mixes traditional materials, honey-colored concrete blocks, and the blue Welsh slate floors, with modern industrial components. Employing a similar formal vocabulary, a small gazebo retreat is located near the house on a favorite riverside picnic spot. This retreat is a complex crystalline polyhedron, and the glassy structure breaks the surface of the sloping bank and faces towards the sea like the cockpit of a plane or boat. Trapezoid concrete shell, partly sunk into the ground as the first in a series of dug-in Foster buildings, is splayed outwards to accommodate seating, a small cooker, and a sink, and offers a secluded den from which one can take in commanding views of the estuary below. You see it in that diagram down there. It really is set up like a cockpit. Since the completion of the building in the mid-1960s, the planning around both the main house and the retreat has been allowed to grow without restriction, so that now both structures appear to recede into the surrounding landscape. The house's grass-covered steps and roof have encouraged this process. Quite deliberately, this encroachment allows Creek Vein to play off the ambiguity afforded by its apparent, almost camouflaged visibility from the outside looking in, and the expanse and totality of the views it provides from inside its rooms looking out. Samuel Beckett Theater is named after one of the most innovative playwrights of the 20th century. It was opened in 1992 to celebrate the quarter centenary of Trinity College Dublin. It is the campus theater of the university's Department of Drama, constituent part of School of Drama, Film and Music. During university term time, it showcases the work of the department and its courses, while outside term time it hosts visits from some of the most prestigious dance and theater companies from Ireland and abroad. Regular events at the Samuel Beckett Theatre include performances within the Dublin Theatre Festival and Dublin Fringe Festival and the Dublin Dance Festival. The building in which the theatre is situated also houses the Department of Drama offices, seminar room, and rehearsal studio, along with Players Theatre, the Studio Theatre of Dublin University Players, Trinity's Student Drama Society. The site's in St. Peter's College in Oxford, and it was the first collaborative project between Foster Associates and Buckminster Fuller. Francis Warner, then a fellow of St. Peter's College and a longtime friend of Samuel Beckett, instigated the scheme in 1971 with observation that the college and Oxford required a new purpose-built experimental theater which should be dedicated to the Nobel Prize-winning dramatist. Richard Burton and Edward Heath, among others, were approached to head a fundraising exercise, and Buckminster Fuller was invited to prepare a series of outline proposals. Fuller invited Norman Foster to provide the support for this project. Fuller proposed to build the theater beneath the college quadrangle, suggesting at the same time that the scope of the scheme be expanded to maximize use of the new building by creating a multi-purpose space adaptable for a wide range of theater configurations, but also capable of interpretation as a highly serviced teaching or exhibition space. The subterranean solution was a direct response to the lack of a suitable site at ground level, but it had the added benefit of placing the new space at the most central position within the college. Unfortunately, the scheme was doomed to fail from lack of fundraising support, but work continued, however, and a prototype interior arrangement that proposed movable triangular plastic blocks which could be simply rearranged to accommodate any conceivable configuration of seating layout and stage design helped them to make the project succeed. And here you can see that bar of soap, also the theater underground, and kind of how the building's elevated and the wood and glazing that they used on the facades. Here's Hearst Tower. As you can see, it's got a nice facade. This was a building or a tower built on top of an existing, as you can see in the picture on the right. There was an existing building below and they built the tower on top. Hearst Tower revives a dream from the 1920s. The dream was of William Randolph Hearst envisioned for the use of Columbus Circle as a new media quarter in Manhattan. Hearst commissioned a six-story Art Deco block on 8th Avenue, anticipating that it would eventually form the base of Ford Tower, though no such scheme was ever advanced. Echoing an approach developed by the Reichstag and the Great Court at the British Museum, the challenge is designing such a tower that 70 years removed was to establish a creative dialogue between the old and the new. The new tower rises above the old building to a height of 44 stories, linked on the outside by a skirt of glazing that encourages an impression of the tower floating weightlessly above the base. At the base of the tower, the main spatial event is a lobby that occupies the entire floor plate of the old building and rises up through 6 floors. Like a bustling town square, this dramatic space provides access to all parts of the building. It incorporates the main elevator lobby, the Hearst staff cafeteria and auditorium, and mezzanine levels for meeting and special functions. Structurally, the tower has a triangulated diagrid form, a highly efficient solution that uses 20% less steel than a conventionally framed structure. With the corners cut back between the diagonals, it creates a distinctive faceted silhouette on the Manhattan skyline. Environmentally speaking, it's a pretty sound building. It was built using 85% recycled steel. Its HVAC equipment utilizes outside air for cooling and ventilation for 9 months of the year, and it consumes 25% less energy than an equivalent building that complies minimally with the respective state and city codes. As a result, it was the first office building in Manhattan to achieve a gold rating under the U.S. Green Buildings LEED certification. As a company, Hearst places a high value on the quality of the working environment, something it believes will become increasingly important to its staff in the future, and it is hoped that Hearst's experience may herald the construction of more environmentally sensitive buildings in the city. And got the floor plan there. You can see the spatial relationships laid out. It's almost an open plan again. Foster has received numerous awards, and so has this firm throughout the years. Just to name a few, he was awarded the Royal Gold Medal for Architecture in 1983, the Gold Medal for the French Academy of Architecture in 1991, and the AIA Gold Medal in 1994. Also in 1994, he was appointed Officer of the Order of Arts and Letters by the Ministry of Culture in France. In 1999, he became the 21st Pritzker Architecture Prize laureate. In 2002, he was elected to the German Orden für le Mérite für Wissenschaften und Kunst and awarded the Premium Imperiale. He was granted a knighthood in the Queen's Birthday Honors List in 1990 and appointed by the Queen to the Order of Merit in 1997. In 1999, he was honored with a life peerage in the Queen's Birthday Honors List, and he took the title then Lord Foster of Thames Bank. So he got his knighthood. Also, a good movie to watch to get some more background information about Norman Foster is How Much Does Your Building Weigh, Mr. Foster? It's a documentary made by Norberto Lopez Amato and Carlos Carcas, and basically it starts off going through some of his more notable structures. It gives do like fly arounds of the buildings and then takes you inside the buildings, and it's all silent to begin with, but then they have a narrator come in and talk about the buildings, and it goes through some of his colleagues and then finally gets to Foster talking about some of his architecture. It's 78 minutes. I watched a little bit of it, probably the first 25-30 minutes, and so if you want some background information, that would be a good source as well. So, thank you.